Hack and I talked earlier about this, and I want to get your opinion on it. Hack first, then Trevor and Bryce, about Ohio State either overwhelming an opponent. They jump on your throat like they did Michigan State, 50-0 at half. Or they're kind of the racehorse that's really talented, but if you can pin him in on the inside rail, you can lock him in. They don't really have another mode. It's either nuke them or you can drown them. Like they don't seem to have anything else in between. Hack, I'm gonna go with you. This is your backyard, your territory. What you saw Michigan go up against Penn State in Happy Valley. You saw them lose a tight one against Michigan State, and you see them take care of business. What was your biggest takeaways today with the game?
Yeah. Well, first off, happy it was back. It was not played last year for COVID reasons. But I think Michigan, Joshua Perry, my co-host on my other podcast, and I talked about this last week. Michigan is probably all three phases, and just from an ebb and flow of a game standpoint, the most complete football team in the Big Ten in terms of the extremes that they have on both sides of all three phases of the football as it pertains to highs and lows. They just stay right here, man. Whereas a lot of these teams, Ohio State being one of them, they're up here for a minute and then they're down here. And then there's just these massive dips and valleys within their play, whether it be one side of the football or the other. I feel like Michigan is just super steady Eddie, man. They have two All-Americans at the defense on the edges with Ajabo and Aiden Hutchinson. I think their whole front seven is really solid. Defensive backfield is athletic. I think they've played better as the year went on, and that showed today. I know CJ still had 340-something yards, but they really stifled the run game and made them one-dimensional. And then offensively, George, I think you made a great point about Cade. He's the perfect guy for that system and where that program is right now in terms of his story and Michigan's story in terms of trying to climb back. I think this, and I could be told, I'm like 98% sure about this, but this is the first Big Ten championship game that Michigan has been in.
Since the start of the championship.
Since the start of the championship game.
Yeah, that's
so. His story is really cool. I think Jim Harbaugh's evolution of being up here and then kind of going back to the middle of the pack and now climbing back and getting finally to that ultimate goal that he had and having a chance to play for a national championship, I think is really cool. And I think Cade was the perfect guy as an offensive leader and the quarterback and leader of the program. Just his story kind of embodies that entire journey. I think a lot of credit goes to Michigan and how they've handled this entire season. You could see the maturity, you could see the growth, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but top to bottom, and they've really just steadily climbed. And like I said, haven't been too extreme in terms of highs and lows. So a lot of credit to Michigan, and I'm excited for this team. I think they can really make a push as long as they continue to keep doing what they're doing. And then, George, not to get too long-winded, but just to kind of start this off, with Ohio State, man, like that team is like the Golden State Warriors, dude. They live and die by the three ball. Like that's the most simple way that I could put it. They shoot their shot, and if they're rolling, they could hang fucking 70 on you. But if they're not, I don't think they have as dominant of a defense as they've had in the past. So that kind of hurts them.
No low post game, no mid range game.
That's what hurts them. So they live and die by the three ball.
That's a big assessment right there on Ohio State. I love what he said about Michigan. I agree 100%. Could we go to the producer here, Dagan Hughes? Can you put up a game chart for Michigan and Ohio State just to point out a few things here as we get Bryce and Trevor in on this? First off, Michigan has never trailed this year. I don't know if you guys know that. Until they got beat by Michigan State, till Michigan State took the lead, They have maintained the lead from start to finish in every ball game. There were no comebacks. There was no, I have to hurry up and run a team down. They haven't really been in a track meet because they don't really let it get into a track meet. It's just like a wrestling match and you're the stronger guy the whole way. That's the sport they're playing. So we may not have a chart graphic. All good. Bryce, Trevor, the Wolverines, steady, reliable. You know what you can hang your hat on with them, and it travels. And they did it with a run game. And I'm not talking the cute end around, chip a guy, make a move in the open space, get 40 yards for us, 6 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 8 yards, 6 yards, 10 yards. Center guards, tackles did the work, and they came downhill on a monster today. Not necessarily a monster defense, but they said this is the best way forward. What are your impressions? I'll go with Bryce. I'll go with Bryce first. Your impressions today, just when you see that outcome, 42-27 Michigan, and the tailback, Hassan Haskins, 5 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, well, I would say to the people that are, at the bar, in the sorority house, fraternity house, whatever. If you did not watch this game, you ought to go back and watch it, just because this is a hell of a football game. This is Big Ten at its finest. Really from start to finish with all the hype. You got both, and I don't know when the last time we had big, the big noon kickoff group on Fox plus College Game Day both go there. It was just so much hype into this game. There was so much hype into Harbaugh and what he hasn't done, why this game was as important as it was to him, not only just the program in and itself, but to him specifically. And then those guys went out and like Harbaugh said in the post game, man, they just executed. They executed flawlessly. And look, Hack's been talking about this really since week 1 with Michigan. They know who they are. They're going to run. They're going to beat it down your throat. And try and stop us. And this was the perfect game, from a weather, kind of, I don't know, situation to where it just played in their favor the whole game. They had the crowd, the big noon kickoff, and then it was a snowy, drizzly day to where it was just everything pointed to, can the front 7 of Ohio State beat the front 5 of Michigan? And they didn't stand a chance. I mean, almost 300 yards on the ground. To your point, George Haskins, the big play with Corum. Those guys they knew what to do, who they were, and they weren't going to get away from it. So I just loved watching. It was just a fun game to watch as a college football fan. Going back and forth. Crazy that they haven't, ever been down before, because typically when you do see teams that are, kind of live and die by the run, as opposed to a 3 ball, that if they do get down, it's hard for those guys to get back up. But just a great game all around, and really happy for Coach Harbaugh and really what he means to that program, and in terms of in the building, outside the building, but also for Michigan to play their way in, because this was the game to do so.
Quick one-word answer from all three. I'm start with Hack. Is Ohio State still alive for the playoffs?
I think there's a scenario and there's an argument. Yes.
Trevor?
No.
Bryce?
Nada.
Ooh. So you're telling a team that has 2 losses to a number 5, a 5th-ranked Oregon, and a 5th-ranked Michigan, you're out. They lost twice to top 5 teams. Get out.
So you guys are saying there's not a chance at all?
No chance?
Very slim, if any. It
There
would
is
have
a
to be.
scenario.
Where do you think they dropped to?
I think the only way they get in is if
Still
a
ahead of
Cincinnati
Baylor.
team loses to Houston in the American title game next weekend, and a few other things happen. And I had put pencil to paper to make sure all that happens. But if Cincinnati wins next weekend, they're in. So that makes 3.
Wait. We'll come back to the playoffs. But so Hack is saying yes. Trevor, you said not a chance, but now you're actually making a case. And Bryce, just as a committee member, you're on the committee. Is Ohio State, can they go on and get ready for Rose Bowl and
Yeah, rock and roll. They're great gifts. You know, a 52-inch Panasonic by all means, maybe a PS4 if you want it. But yeah, Rose Bowl. Here you go.
nowadays it's probably a car. Get yourself that nice
A Tesla, a Bitcoin.
Yeah, probably a Tesla. Like the bowl gifts are going up and up and up. A quick message now from our newest sponsor, BetterHelp. Is there something that's preventing you from achieving your goals or interfering with your happiness? If there is, let me tell you guys about BetterHelp, professional help done securely online. Check out betterhelp.com/all caps field. BetterHelp will assess your individual needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist to allow you to connect in a safe, private online environment. It's so convenient you can start communicating in less than 48 hours. BetterHelp is not a crisis line. It's an avenue to accessing professional therapy without having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. BetterHelp has licensed professionals who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, as well as relationship and grief counseling. You can message your counselor at any time and get timely, thoughtful responses. You can schedule weekly video sessions or phone sessions. Find the particular expertise you need online. Don't limit yourself to the counselors located near you, and do it in a manner that's more affordable and traditional offline counseling. Financial aid is available. So many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. I want you to start living a happier, better life. As a listener, you get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/field, all caps. Join the over 1 million people who have taken the charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, capital H, capital E, capital L, capital P.com/field, all caps. Today, let's speak about better health, the better health of the Big 12. Fellas, they really do need better help. The Big 12 to me is the conference a lock? And I'm gonna go with the one non-Big 12 player. Heck, does the Big 12 have a seat regardless, given all the other movement in the landscape? Can we confidently say the Big 12 champ will be joining this situation?
Hell no. No.
Care to explain?
I just said
that's just one word answer. Hell no.
Hell no.
There's not a chance, huh?
Go ahead, Hack. Keep going, Hack.
I am confidently sure there's not a chance. 100%.
Wait, not a chance they get in, or not a chance it's a lock?
I don't think they have a seat at all. And I also don't think they get in. Yeah, so I guess I'm just saying no. Like, period. No, I don't think they do. Oklahoma was your chance, and Oklahoma needed to run the table. Because what's probably, and this is what I'm talking about, like with Ohio State having an opportunity, right? What's probably going to happen is Baylor is probably going to go out there and ruin everyone's parade and beat Oklahoma State. And then, like I said, like something crazy, like Iowa's going to mess around and beat Michigan. And then Cincinnati's going to lose to Houston. And then, let's just give Georgia their due. And then Alabama's going to be a 2-loss team. Then you have a bunch of 2-loss teams bleeding all over the place. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to sit there and go, all right, who's the best 4 football teams in the country? And to me, it's Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan. And that's it.
That's it. That's all we're going to talk about the Big 12. I just wanted to hear from the Big 10 guy.
It's been a great show. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks to our sponsor, Spent Rivers.
I just wanted us to go over that real quick. Give Hack that deal. Thank you, Hack. But to the Big 12 alum, we are coming back